The rancher had learned to read the land the way some men read books. Dust meant cattle moving. Silence meant danger. That afternoon, the silence came too fast, pressing down on the plains until even the cicadas seemed to hold their breath. Elijah Cole slowed his horse and rested his palm on the worn stock of his rifle, his eyes scanning the far edge of the property, where the mesquite trees twisted like watchful old men. That was when he saw her. She stood just beyond the fence line, unmoving, as if she had grown out of the earth itself. The wind tugged gently at her dark braid, where thin red threads were woven with careful purpose. Her clothing marked her as Apache, but not in a way that suggested travel or need. This was ceremonial dress, clean and deliberate. She did not look lost. She looked as though she had arrived exactly where she intended to be. "Can I help you?" Elijah called, his voice steady despite the sudden tightness in his chest. She lifted her gaze to his, and the world seemed to tilt. There was no fear in her eyes, only recognition. "You saved me," she said, her voice calm but weighted with memory. "Years ago, when I was a child and my village burned near the mesquite flats." The past rushed back in fragments of smoke and heat. Raiders in the dark, screams carried on the wind. A small, bloodied girl trapped beneath a fallen branch, her breath shallow but her eyes fierce. He remembered lifting her, running until his lungs burned, giving her his last water before placing her into the arms of her people at dawn. He had never learned her name. He had never expected to see her again. "That was a long time ago," Elijah said quietly. She stepped closer, closing the distance as if it had never existed. "You told me to live," she said. "You told me to grow strong and remember you." A faint smile touched her lips, not playful but certain. "My name is Ayanna," she said. "I am Apache, and I have returned to keep a promise." Elijah's heart thudded painfully in his chest. "What promise?" Her gaze never wavered. "I have returned to marry you." Elijah let out a short breath that almost sounded like a laugh, though there was no humor in it. The words she had spoken hung between them, heavy as storm clouds. Marry him. A stranger's promise, spoken in the chaos of fire and blood. He shook his head slowly, as if that alone might restore the world to something sensible. "You were a child," he said. "You were hurt. People say things when they're trying to survive." Ayanna did not flinch. She followed him as he turned toward the ranch house, her footsteps quiet but unwavering. "In my people's way," she said, "words spoken to preserve life are not empty. They become part of the spirit." Inside the house, the air smelled of leather, coffee, and sun-warmed wood. Elijah set his hat on the table and ran a hand through his hair. The walls were lined with faded photographs, his parents long gone, a younger version of himself standing beside his first herd. A life shaped by work and solitude. Ayanna studied them with gentle curiosity, as though she were reading a story written without her, yet meant for her all the same. "You don't know what kind of man I am now," Elijah said. "Years change people. They reveal them," she replied. "They do not erase what already exists." As evening crept in, riders appeared along the distant ridge, their silhouettes dark against the dying light. Elijah tensed until he realized they were not hostile. They remained still, watchful. Ayanna stepped outside to acknowledge them, raising her hand in a quiet signal. When she returned, her expression softened. "They are here to ensure I am treated with honor," she said. "Not to force you." That night the ranch felt different. The fire crackled lower. The wind carried unfamiliar songs from Ayanna's lips as she sat by the hearth, humming melodies older than the land deeds Elijah owned. He found himself listening despite his resistance, drawn into the calm strength she carried so effortlessly. By morning, word had spread. A neighbor rode by under the pretense of checking fences, but lingered long enough to cast a wary glance at the Apache woman on Elijah's porch. Whispers would follow, Elijah knew. Lines that had never fully healed would reopen. "You should leave," he told her quietly, "for your own safety." Ayanna met his gaze, her eyes steady and unafraid. "I did not survive fire and loss to be frightened away by doubt," she said. "I came because I chose to." Elijah watched her walk back toward the house, realizing with unease that the peace he had built over years was already shifting, and that part of him did not want it to stop. The trouble did not arrive suddenly. It crept in on cautious hooves and tight expressions, carried by men who had known Elijah for years, and now looked at him as if he were someone else entirely. They came just after midday, dust rising behind their horses, rifles visible but not yet raised. Ayanna stood beside Elijah on the porch, her posture calm, her presence unmistakable. "You're asking for problems," one of the men said, his voice low but sharp. "This land is already tense. Bringing her here stirs things that should stay buried." Elijah felt the weight of their stares, the unspoken demand that he choose familiarity over truth. "She hasn't done anything wrong," he replied. "Neither have her people." A murmur passed through the group, uneasy and edged with old fear. Someone shifted, a hand tightening around a rifle stock, and in that moment the air snapped. A shot rang out, striking the dirt several yards away, close enough to send a clear message. No one was hurt, but the warning was delivered. The men rode off soon after, leaving silence fractured and dangerous behind them. That night, the wind howled harder than usual, rattling the windows like restless spirits. Elijah sat at the table, his hands clasped, while Ayanna tended the fire. The warmth did little to ease the knot in his chest. "Did you come here because you needed protection?" he asked at last. "Because my name carries weight with these people." Ayanna turned slowly, her eyes dark and shining. "I came because you carried me when no one else would," she said. "But I will not stay if I place a burden on you." She stepped closer, her voice softer now. "Among my people, marriage is not escape. It is joining paths. If your path turns away from mine, I will honor that." Her words struck deeper than any accusation. Elijah realized she was offering him freedom, not obligation. He stood pacing once before stopping in front of her. "You could leave tomorrow," he said, "and no one would blame you." "Yes," she answered, "but would you blame yourself?" The question lingered long after she lay down to rest. Elijah remained awake, listening to the distant call of night birds and the steady breathing of a woman who trusted him enough to risk everything. For the first time since his parents' deaths, he felt the sharp pull of belonging and the equally sharp fear of losing it. By dawn, he stepped outside and watched Ayanna greet the sunrise with a quiet prayer. In that moment, Elijah understood that choosing her would cost him comfort, and choosing against her would cost him something far greater. Dawn broke pale and cool. The sky stretched wide and endless above the land that had shaped them both. The wedding was not announced with fanfare or bells, but with the steady beat of a drum carried on the morning wind. Apache riders arrived first, their presence calm and respectful, followed by a handful of ranch hands and neighbors who came not out of certainty, but out of witness. Curiosity softened into quiet awe as the two worlds gathered without drawn weapons or raised voices. Elijah stood beneath a cottonwood tree, dressed simply, his hands rough and honest at his sides. When Ayanna approached, the air seemed to still. She wore garments woven with symbols of endurance and renewal, her braid adorned with the same red thread she had worn the day she returned to him. Her eyes met his, and in them he saw not the frightened child he once carried, but a woman forged by survival and choice. The vows were spoken slowly, carefully, as if each word were being placed into the earth itself. Elijah spoke first, his voice thick but steady, promising to walk beside her rather than ahead of her, to listen before judging, and to protect what they built together without trying to own it. Ayanna answered in her language, her voice rising and falling like a song, then repeated her promise in his, choosing him not because he had saved her life, but because he had never tried to claim it. As the ceremony ended, the tension that had hovered over the land for weeks eased, not vanishing but settling into something manageable. People shared food, exchanged cautious greetings, and watched children chase one another through the grass as if the future were already testing its footing. The days that followed were not without struggle. There were arguments, misunderstandings, and moments when the weight of history pressed hard against their union. Yet there were also mornings filled with shared labor, evenings warmed by laughter, and quiet nights where understanding grew without words. Seasons turned, and the ranch changed with them. Ayanna learned the rhythms of cattle and weather, while Elijah learned the stories written into the land long before fences marked it. Together, they carved out a life balanced between respect and love. Years later, children played beneath the mesquite trees where fire had once ruled. Elijah would watch them and remember how a single act of kindness had reshaped his destiny. Ayana would smile beside him, knowing that some promises, spoken in fear and hope alike, were meant to return, stronger, wiser, and unbroken.